Hello everyone. So, you showed me your build like 3 days late. Gonna be honest with y'all, I'm feeling a bit burnt out, and that's probably the reason why this is a bit late. I've also been trying to play something else for a change to try to, you know, relax a bit. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to put show me your build on an hiatus for a month. And after that I should be ready to come back to it. Also would give more time for people to actually, you know, build up unit. I'm sorry about this, it's just... I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't want to be this... this person that's super late always because he just doesn't want to do this. So, of course I'm going to be taking a break to remedy this. Again, I'm sorry, but this is going to be the last show me your build until March 15th, I think. Again, sorry about that, but you know, just gonna give me a bit more time to actually enjoy myself playing other games. And I understand also that I'm still going to be working on banner review, because that's the kind of thing I can actually interact with people while picking people for. That's honestly the thing that makes everything else not as bad to deal with. It's not because I don't enjoy Show Me Your Build, it's because I can't really interact with people and show like people I pick on stream, because that kind of just ruins the surprise. And then if I give any bit of reasonment on why I picked those people, then they already know basically what the video is gonna be like, and that's kind of just ruining the point of the video, isn't it? Whereas banner review, I can actually talk to this, you know, with other people. Sometimes they actually bring up points, sometimes I actually realize things because I completely miss like one single symbol because I just read quickly. This kind of thing, and I don't want to be bringing misinformation. Whereas those characters, I already know everything about them. So, you know. Sorry about that again. But to get started, let's start with this Douma from Lowrider 925. Let me see what he had to say. Behold Douma our lord, his IVs are attack plus res minus. I had one cliff lying around that I wasn't using and figured Fortress Def Res served me better than Def Res solo. That is true. Since I will most likely be using him in an Armor Emblem team or mixed team with guidance, where he'll always be next to another unit. Yeah, that's the big problem with armored units. Solos are not bad, but they tend to be kind of shit on characters like armored units, unless they're a character like Ephraim that have so much to give that it's like, okay, it's fine, because like Ephraim gets 10 attack, 10 defense, 4 speed, 4 res, all of that by not having someone next to him, which completely overthrows stuff like, oh, spurs, rallies, guidance, and so on. But for a character like Douma who only has a solo skill, you're better off with either a bond skill or, you know, Fortress Def Res solo. What the fuck am I saying? Fortress Def Res. Because on those characters you can then use guidance, you can then use march, stuff that, you know, Ephraim can't use properly, which is honestly one of Ephraim's biggest problems. But at the same time, which is fine, because you just get so much from his weapon and A skill combined that you don't really feel it. Anyway, I haven't been running him with any consistent buff yet, but I have triple tactic Titania and legendary Azura with own attack 4 if I want to go that route. All in all, I guess it's a pretty basic build, and I'm definitely open to suggestion. I'm just really happy I got him with such good IV spread. Thanks as always. Well, you've definitely been luckier than I am. I got speed plus on all 3 Doumas I've got, and 2 of them were attack minus. I don't even plan on merging them. I think I'm gonna be killing one of them for Legendary Actor, since mine is +5. But to go back to be on topic, I would say Legendary Azura would probably be ideal because you could combo Guinan Seal with own attack 4. Buffing every stat by 7 on top of being able to have a bit more movement is definitely welcomed. So, what else would I change? Well, not really a lot. I would say if you're going to go in AR, definitely replace Upheaval. Upheaval is not going to help you in 90% of the maps. I would replace it for Attack Smoke or Savage Blow. Now, Savage Blow could also kind of work, but at the same time, Upheaval have the same problem Savage Blow has, so Attack Smoke is probably ideal for Aether raids. Otherwise, I would say this set is kind of fine. There's not much else to change for PvE purpose. You could definitely change maybe the seal for Attack Def Bond, or Attack Res Bond whenever that comes out. I'm surprised it's not out yet. My Tiki really wants Attack Res Bond. Because I hit 47 speed. I don't need 52 with Attack Speed Bond, but oh well. So, yeah, not much else to say here. Maybe change also Draconic Aura to Bonfire, because you get like 18 damage from Draconic Aura, and you get like 20 from Bonfire. Even if Fell Breath procs, you're at like, you hit just the same as Bonfire anyway. And Close Death, the second you're on the defensive, will do better with Bonfire than Draconic Aura will. Other than that, not much else to say. It's a pretty standard build and it works. Next up is Nyx Morgan M. Wait, no. Panago 75 is Morgan M. Oops. Attack plus HP minus. Let's see. Okay, here comes my own male Morgan. Attack plus HP minus, best buddy with Arden in a team that consisted by Titania for tactic buffs and Enos. Apart from Candelabra, Kid has his own tome and can also give a Blade Tome if need be. B-Slot also has Guard, Breaker Skills, QR. That team is a fun team, mainly playing difficult mode maps just for fun. Can see a way to use him in Arena, AA or AR though. Okay, so if you're going to be using him in Aether raids and so on, you can just use Blade Tome. It's super easy to buff a Blade Tome unit, as you can see with just my video with Ray. I used a 4-star plus 10 Ray, and I still managed to stay in tier 21 pretty easily, pretty commendably. Blade Tome doesn't make you lose any point compared to Candelabra as well, because you have a 300 SP A slot. This is something a lot of people don't realize, but if you have a 300 SP A slot, unless you run your Pref, Blade Tome will do the same as any other tome. So if you have a Blade Tome, you're just fine. As long as, of course, you change the stuff for, you know, scoring for the rest. For example, Vantage could be a 240B skill, such as Renewal. The Seal could be replaced for a Brazen, though Quick Repulse is fine enough. Or you could just be going like Quick Repulse B-Slot with Attack Def Bond. That's also a good option, because then you'll have 32 defense and 30 res, so you can actually utilize close counter pretty effectively. Or Null follow-up could also be an option, because if you're in high arena, 38 speed tends to be enough. And then, you know, with Null follow-up, you combo this with Attack Def Bond. Plenty of reasons, plenty of ways to actually work with this. Obviously, you'll need to change the special to Aether. There's really no other choice outside of Blue Flame, but Blue Flame is pretty expensive. Reposition a double rally is probably your best option. That's pretty typical. But other than this, If you're talking about AR is a bit of a difficult mixed bag. I don't think you can really use Morgan effectively in AR. It's kind of funny because, in a way, Aether Raids is more restrictive than Arena Assault and Arena. Because, yes, you can use those units. You can. But why would you? Like, typically you'll want Air because she's like the best mage killer of the entire fucking game for Aether Raid. Seriously, I just face tank an AoE and I took 2 damage from Ophelia. That's just how potent Air is. And then if you compare the rest that you have, that you need to have in your team, it's like, oh, you need a good Brave Bow, hopefully Flyer would be really good because a lot of units don't have that much defense. You need a good Red. Red is probably your best option, which is why I have him on my team always. And that's why he's always summoner support. And that's why I never change my summon support anymore. Then you have a slot that can be kind of changed around. Well, the other 2 slots for me are dancers, but like, you can change that around. The thing is, your red needs to be usually melee, because that means they can take a bit more damage with, you know, DC and so on. Red is a prime example of this, but Morgan, not so much. Dancers are very important also in this mode. That's just kind of what it is. You don't really have space to run like one of your favorite. Like, look, I want to use George. George is like a unit I use everywhere. I can't use him on that mode. Just to give you an idea, like, I'm actually using Summer Takumi instead of George. A +10 versus a +1. But the +1 has more utility because he can go over lava tiles. It's dumb. But this isn't about me, you know, shitting about the mode. Other than this is a good set otherwise, if you're not talking about Arena. What I was talking about before was mostly Arena, of course. You could also replace Attack Death Bond for Flashing Blade. If you use Flashing Blade with Aether, you can actually make this kit also a lot better. If you switch Vantage to Quick Riposte and then Quick Riposte Seal to Flashing Blade with Aether, you can have some source of sustain for yourself. And 38 speed is a bit shaky, but it's workable. And with Candelabra, that's 40 speed anyway, so, you know. If you have any way to buff your speed, you'll be good. You'll do good, essentially, is what I'm saying. But yeah, enough of this. Let's move to the next one. This is an attack plus res minus Shigure from Nick. Here's my emotional support Shigure, attack plus res minus. He has some other builds, but I use this in arena for cheerleading, and Swift Sparrow in AR for some extra offense. So yeah, this is basically what it sounds like. And this is just an arena cheerleading tool. The only skill out there that's not there to support people is Aether and nothing else. Not much else to say. Buffing every stat by 6 is really good. And debuffing 2 stats by 7, though randomized and I actually really despise that, is still an option. I think the only thing I could say that would really be good for this set would be replacing the B skill for a feint skill, since you're using a rally to begin with. So if you have, say, attack feint, you'd have chill attack that can actually proc on multiple people more consistently, and you can get to choose which unit gets hit by it, which is fantastic. Whereas chill attack is a bit shaky because it can hit the wrong people. It's very frustrating. But other than this is fine. So Sparrow is pretty good for AR, I think you said. Yeah, AR. Yeah, that's good enough. Not much else to say really. It's just basically a monster buffer more than anything. So, yeah. Let's move on. Not much else to change on that one. This is Emotional Distresses Young Tiki. Summer Young Tiki. God, I wish Young Tiki treated me well. Oh well. So this is my summer younger Young Tiki. She's attack plus, res minus, and is on my dragon team with Grima. Grima and Naui. Support with Naui. I don't have any ward or gold dragon fodder, so gave her attack tactic since my dragon emblem is an accidental tactic team. I know I could improve her. Set, so I'd like some input on how. Okay. First off, I would work on making a tactic team. Also, kind of funny, you have the same IVs as my own Tiki. Well, Summer Young Tiki, anyway. But since she runs Summer Breath, what I would first off do is, unless you use her for Arena, of course, switch Aether to Ignis. Ignis is better for her because her breath gives her 2 charge when she gets attacked and attacked back, at least when she's on the defensive. So she gets hit back, proc Ignis. You get the idea. It's super good for her, and just in general a really good set to run. Now, I would say maybe run Def Res Tactic on Naui for a good because that way you'd be able to hit like an extra 6 defense and res for both Grimas, which is really good, or you could just run that on female Grima instead. It's really up to you. Since you have a tactic team, it's really ideal to actually abuse the fact that you're on a tactic team. Tiki doesn't need the attack as much as everyone else, so it's fine that she has attack tactic. Def Res Tactic is really important for your team since your team is meant to be a bulky team. War Dragon is cool and all, but it's nowhere near as important. Def Res Tactic means it's easier for your people to actually stay alive. Now we will be a bit problematic herself because she won't get the buffs, but it's kind of what it is. You can't really like get everything you want. But yeah, I would definitely say work on that. Other than this, Renewal is kind of meh. But I can kind of see it work. It's just that the B skill doesn't really have much you can run. Like, you have stuff like Desperation you could run, or Quick Repose, but you already have so much speed with attack speed bond. Like, best case scenario, I would say run Cure as your B skill, and then your Seal skill is open for, say, Rest Tactic or Death Tactic. Other than this, your set is fine. It's mostly the team around the set that needs to change. Outside of course, changing Aether to Ignis. Because honestly, if you have Renewal of all things as well, Aether is completely irrelevant at that point. You already have enough bulk, especially with Def Res Tactic. You're sitting at 46 defense and 28 res, which is already bulky enough, I'd say, that you don't need to worry about it. But that's just me. So let's move on. This is Gremlin's Tybarn. Been talking a lot about in the comments with him concerning Tybarn anyway. So, hey dude, after a couple months or so of hype for Beast Unit, I finally got my Tybarn. Raymond Martinez on YouTube. Here is the Tybarn I have, paired with Neon, and also has Gale Force as an alternative special. Run him with Raisin and Nesala as well. Attack plus, speed minus. So, well, alright. I was gonna say attack plus, speed minus. Speed minus is kind of bad, but then I realized, oh, that Bane is gone in like, what, 3 days? Who cares? What I would say, however, is you might want, if you go for Gale Force, don't run Desperation. Desperation is actually going to fuck you over. You need 5 charges for Gale Force to work, so you need your enemy to actually hit you back to actually proc Gale Force. Granted, you also need them to, you know, not die in one hit, but that's another that's another problem altogether. What I would run is either chill attack or maybe a feint skill, maybe a link skill in fact. That would probably be somewhere more ideal for you, I feel like. Link skills are really easy to set up for Tybarn, so that would give you a lot of bulk, a lot of attack. Makes it easier for you to live on enemy phase. As for even attack wave, I would definitely say get rid of that. As much as it's useful, it can also backfire. Do keep in mind, you already hit 70 attack with sturdy impact, so even attack wave can be actually a problem if you have so much attack that you actually get the one shot, so you don't actually get to proc Gale Force because you kill them too quick. Which is a problem I actually have with Rid sometimes, and I can tell you it's actually kind of frustrating. So, and on top of it, even attack wave is also kind of inconsistent. So what I would change it for is attack smoke. Attack smoke means that you can actually kill stuff pretty safely and debuff everyone around them, which means your enemy phase is far stronger. This way you can use Tybarn the same way as I use Rid, which sometimes this just results in me being like, send Rid in the pack, kill the unit. Alright. Wait for everything to die on enemy phase. I'm pretty sure Tybarn can do something pretty similar. Now, you can't really do this against res monsters such as Reinhardt, unlike Rid. Because my Rid hits 41 res. It's kind of stupid, but, you know. And you can't really consistently block follow-ups on enemy phase. So attack smoke is a good idea. That way, if you have to deal with anything that's melee, you'll have at least a way to deal with it. Just thought I'd mention that. Other than this looks fine. Again, Desperation can actually screw you over, but I know I did show the skill because I wanted to point out that it combos into his weapon and sturdy impact pretty well. But yeah, other than this, I would definitely say like attack smoke, maybe not chill attack, maybe chill defense could be an option. Just one type of chill in general could be pretty solid for him. The rest looks fine. And yeah, Gale Force is obviously better. If you use Desperation, just keep Aether, obviously, but that's basically it. Let's move on. Attack plus res minus Tana from Joey, and he says, so here's my Tana again. She's attack plus res minus. Her weapon refine gives her a very substantial buff to her defense and res on enemy phase, and my build builds on that. Alright, that sounds weird. Drawback is there for movement, and Bonfire is quite powerful on enemy phase. Steady Stance is there to give her some bulk. Guard shuts down special. Guidance allows her to have her allies to transport to her so she can protect them. It's also really good for her weapon because if you go with the refine of the weapon, you get an extra, well, 4 attack speed, I believe. If you have infantry or armored unit next to him, which combos into guidance pretty well, so definitely worth mentioning. Darting Stance is used to combine with her to create makeshift QR, and she is quite fast as she doesn't require her to be on high, and that doesn't require her to be on high health. She counts as a potential member of my flyer team as a physical wall. So, one thing I gotta start with, if your goal is Darting Stance, get that shit out of here and run attack speed bond. I don't really recommend attack speed bond in a lot of cases, but here you're basically getting 5 extra speed versus the 6 speed Darting Stance gives you, and it can be also on player phase because it combos pretty well into guidance since guidance push people next to you. And on top of this you get 5 attack. And besides, you don't really need 46 speed. You get already 45 speed with the bond skill, but on top of it, you get 62 attack. 62 attack is really good. And, well, you end up having pretty good offense. Steady Stance 3 is a good option, and Guard is also a good option. Although I feel like maybe, like, the ideal setup would probably be, obviously, Steady Stance 4, with maybe Desperation. I understand this is a kind of multi-phase set, and I understand they don't really combo into each other, but the thing is, it's super easy to combo Attack Speed Bond into Vidofnir, since they're kind of like almost the same, what's the word? The same requirement to proc. And unbuffed, you are already hitting 62-45 offensively. That's really, really good. At that point, you can already break quite a few things, so Desperation would be ideal. And on the other side, if you're fighting something that, you know, could be threatening, first off, you don't need to be, you know, over 80% HP to actually block Bullfighter, because Steady Stance 4 would work at all time. But more importantly, Desperation would also give you an option in case of if Bullfighter actually kills you without a special. It's definitely worth mentioning and will definitely help you down the line, especially considering what you have. It's an extra 2 defense on top of it, and yeah, it's just super potent. Other than this, your set is fine. I'm just talking about optimizing, and really, the main thing that we really have to change is just the seal. Otherwise, everything else is reliant on you getting like special fodder, which kind of sucks, but it's still worth mentioning, I feel like. So yeah, I suppose that's it. Let's move on. This is a HP plus speed minus Soleil from CPU Panics Easily. And he or she says, right, it took me a bit to find it, but I'm fairly sure she's a HP plus speed minus. Not sure if this matters, but the Wood Owl plus is the Def plus enhancement. She gets support from a Christmas Tarja, the relevant support skill are Attack Smoke, and a basic Rally Attack Speed. Also a swimsuit Cordy with chill attack and an additional attack smoke 3. Not sure, still not sure if separate attack smoke stacks after all this time or it really matters. They don't. The way debuff works is the highest one is taken in consideration. Everything else is completely thrown to the side. The only way to stack debuff is if you panic ploy buffs on your enemy's side, because they're considered still as buff, just negative buffs, as weird as this sounds, comboed into debuff. So like, if you panic ploy attack tactic, and then you attack smoke the character, they lose 13 attack. Otherwise, it doesn't stack. Also, PA Inigo from last time. He's got chill res now, but don't think that matters here. Until they had an inheritable sword that targets death res at least. Well, I mean, you could still run Sorcery Blade, but that's reliant on you running a mage, though Inigo can actually fill that niche pretty well. So, I don't think I have to explain that your IVs needs to be changed. Ideally, you'll want speed plus, not speed minus. 40 speed is actually pretty good, and yes, the fact that you remove the, you know, follow-up on the enemy side is good. However, it's also kind of problematic in the sense that you don't get the double. You block their double, but you don't get to double yourself immediately. So it's important for you to actually have more speed. And it bugs stuff like QR and so on. Now, your set is not bad, but also very... what's the term? It really feels like... God, what's the word? It has an emotional crisis, I guess. Fucking personality crisis. I'm not sure what the word would be, but I would say ideally you might want to actually dump the Wadao for Slaying Edge, Slaying Edge can be obtained by upgrading a Killing Edge plus. That way you can actually have Blue Flame at 2 cooldown. So if you run, say, Desperation with Flashing Blade Seal, which would be more consistent considering you would have changed your speed to speed plus, that would essentially mean that you attack, Desperation procs, you attack again, you proc Blue Flame immediately, and you typically kill them. It's a pretty good set. Other than this, if you really want to go defensively, I would say get rid of Even Death Wave. Waves in general are very shaky. Maybe run Even Death Wave as a C skill instead. But run Attack Death Bond instead. That's 5 more attack at the cost of 1 death, except it works all the time. Attack Death Bond combos into Blue Flame pretty well, which is also a good reason to run it. Now, if you want to be always on enemy phase, 30 impact is not really useful either, so there's that to be mentioned, but because it doesn't block Bolt Fighter, and 34 defense is still shaky as balls. Even with Attack Death Bond, that's what 39, and if you have Even Death Wave active, that's 45. 45 is okay, you can kind of make it work. But it's still kind of shaky. So yeah, I would definitely switch the weapon to Slaying. Personally, I would say Slaying, 30 impact, Desperation, Flashing Blade, and Even Death Wave. Or maybe on another way, you could, if you want to make it like a multi-phase, 30 impact with Attack Death Bond would be a good option. That way you can actually combo both of them together. Then Guard becomes pretty important because you have to be able to block Bolt Fighter from proccing skills such as Black Luna, which just spells your death in general. Other than that, this looks fine. You just have to put more emphasis on Blue Flame is the issue. But yeah, ideally, since you're already running Inigo, and you already have, you know, Chill Attack and Chill Res, I would definitely tell you to run Sorcery Blade. If you run Sorcery Blade comboed into Inigo, you actually hit Res instead of defense. And on top of it, it combos into Blue Flame since you have an ally next to you. It combos into Attack Death Bond since you have an ally next to you. So it becomes a really good skill. And you have a lot of attack, so you can actually definitely make use of this. Another issue is that you have too many units with attack smoke. I would say definitely Soleil, if you use her as a tank, like I've been mentioning, would definitely use attack smoke pretty well. More than Summer Cordelia at least. I don't know what your Summer Cordelia is like, but I know more or less her stat line, and attack smoke is not bad on her, but not great either. So yeah, this would be worth mentioning. So yeah, let's move on. This is a speed plus HP minus Crom from Hyperblade 67. I was actually kind of happy to see that type of set on him. Plus 1, eh? Let me try to see. This is my Crom. I am going to plus 10 him for my Arena Core, and this is the build I plan on using. He is speed plus HP minus, so I wanted to have some fun and make him as speedy as I can. This is the way to go with Sealed Falchion Crom, honestly. With Sealed Falchion and Brazen Attack speed 3, right now he hits 41 speed and 46 with Joint Tone speed. So, you're going to be hitting 50 speed, essentially. I don't feel like 50 speed is that needed, but Joint Tone speed is good as a cheerleading tool. Other than that, if you hit plus 10, you're already at 45 speed. You're already doubling everything that matters. And the things you don't double are not that bad. Though I will say Joint Own speed is good to get in Sealed Falchion and Brazen Attack speed, since it pushes your speed up to 38 at plus 10. I like the build since it's really fun, but I am just not sure what to do with his B slot. I have both Vantage and Desperation on him, but I am not sure if there would be anything better for him. If you can help in any way, that would be great. Also, Aether is a special since he comes. Aether is this special since he comes with it, and it helps his arena scoring, even if it is kind of counterintuitive with what the build is trying to go for. For a team he is in, he would be getting tactic buff from attack def res from Titania, who also provide chill speed support for him. Also, Micaiah provides attack def ploy as well to help him take hits and get in brazen range and for him to deal more damage. It's good, it's good. You actually know and realize that you have to have some type of support to get in brazen range. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. You can actually replace Aether pretty well. Ideally, here's what I would do. I would replace Aether with Gale Force. I would make your Seal either Flashing Blade or Heavy Blade. Both of them works pretty well. Do know that Flashing Blade will be more consistent in high arena compared to Heavy Blade, because high speed unit don't really exist, and you already have so much support when it comes down to speed. However, Heavy Blade will be more consistent in lower tier. So, just thought it was worth mentioning. Gale Force is going to be really good considering he has, what, 72 attack. 72 attack is pretty good. I don't think I have to explain this. And having another Brazen would be overkill and work against you more often than not. So having easy access to Flashing or Heavy Blade would be ideal. Unless you have someone with, you know, Infantry Rush or Infantry Flash. Those skills actually makes your seal slot open for other things, which would be fantastic for you. It would mean you could run something like Attack Speed Bond to get in Brazen easier, you know. Other than that, Vantage is a good skill to have. In general, you actually don't want to have a B skill that actually changed the turn order for initiating, so Desperation would be kind of bad for him. As a matter of fact, it makes so that Vantage is probably one of your best options, considering you'll be at 72 attack. 72 attack is pretty good enough to kill quite a few units, or at least damage them enough. And at the end of the day, you're still hitting like 42 defense, so you should be able to take a Bolt Fighter. Unless it's like Bolt Fighter Ignis, with a cooldown -1 weapon. Which, just be happy that's not the case, that you don't find that too often in high tier arena. But, yeah, I feel like that's about as good as it can be. A Chia could definitely be a good option here, also. But I feel like you've already covered so many debuff, it doesn't really matter at this point. So, yeah. You could also try to be a bit more creative and run Escape Route. That would actually mean that since you're on low health to begin with for Brazens and Sealed Fortune, you'd be able to teleport to any characters, and if on top of this you do enough damage without doing too much damage, you could just kill them, proc Kill Force, and then run out of there. Just thought I'd mention that. It's really rare I actually point out to Escape Route shenanigans, but Crumb is one of the best users to it. So let's move on. This is a legit Tortul. It's Gray. And he says, here's my Gray. Speed plus HP minus. Don't have a team for him yet. I plan to run him with Legendary Lucina for the blessing boost in speed, and she can support him with Attack Def Link. I'm also waiting for Attack Smoke or something else for the C skill. Alright. Yeah, Attack Smoke would be probably ideal. You have a decent amount of defense, so it will combo pretty well. Attack Def Bond would be better than Sturdy Stance, but Attack Def Bond is also extremely difficult to get. I'm expecting the next Tempest Trial unit, or the one after, to have Attack Def Bond on them at like 4-star. since they tend to hide like some of the best fodder in Tempest Trial unit. I mean, like, for God's sake, own flyers? We got own flyers? Like, what? Attack Res Bond is also a obtainable 4-star skill now from Cecilia. Like, a lot of really good skills are hidden behind Grails, which makes it even worse the fact that they actually scale it up to 500. They definitely should just scale it down to 200 at top, but whatever. Anyway, all that to say, what am I even trying to say? Oh yeah, I would say if you're going to go for speed like you are right now, because you'll be hitting like 47 speed, that's kind of a bit too much. First off, since you're hitting 47 speed, I would actually replace the speed refine for a def refine. 2, I would actually say, unless you run no follow-up, attack speed bond is going to be very shaky for you. Now, if you actually don't run no follow-up, you can still make attack speed bond work. It's just a bit shaky. You definitely need guard at that point. Ideally, what you want to have is steady stance 4. Again, pointing that out is kind of obvious, but just thought I'd mention it. So you can actually open up your B skill, which means you can run QR, and because you can run QR, you can actually replace attack speed bond to attack def bond. Since you actually already have enough speed as is. And besides, that's what, you still have 39 speed. Unbuffed. Unbuffed. So if you have someone with speed tactic, you're sitting at 45 speed. Or attack speed link. Or speed res link, but that's Nina, and I don't think you have a Nina. So, yeah. Other than this, if we're going to go with the set you have right now, I'd say maybe change attack speed bond to attack def bond, so you can actually take down a bit more bold fighter. Because that way you'd be hitting 47 defense. If you go with a def refine, that's 51 defense. So, yeah. I think that's about it. So, let's move on. Holy shit, it's been 42 minutes. This is Sacred Memories Erika from CJ. HP plus, def minus. And he says, merge for the sake of pissing off a friend. The best reasons. Though to be honest, you should never be foddering her. You should always be merging her. She is way too good at what she's doing. There's a reason why I'm even using characters such as Leo, for God's sake, in Arena Assault. That's how potent red mage calves are. Leo actually does work, as dumb as it sounds. It might be a laughingstock, but the fact that there's only 2 red mage cav makes him amazing. I can one-shot Surtur with his ass. I can one-shot every green armored unit with his ass. I can one-shot Zelgus with his ass. And Erika is everything Leo can do, but better. So, again, never fodder her. Swift Sparrow is not even rare anymore. Naysala exists. Who cares? Who cares? Just who the fuck cares? Everything else she has is very meh. So, you know, never kill her, but anyway. I figure I may as well actively work on her in the event she's a bonus unit for Arena again. My cheerleaders will be able to provide +6 visible buff, so I'm guessing +6 to everything. +4 def res via close guard and +3 speed via drive speed, sorry. I've not invested into mages all that much for Arena, so I'm in the dark about how I'd prepare her for bonus seasons. Guidance is appreciated. Score range is 734, 748, assuming she at least gets 500 SP special and uses her base dual rally. I mean, ideally this is a hit to your score range, obviously. This is a hit to your score range, but I would say Blade Tome is ideal. I mean, you're looking at those stats with Blade Tome, that's 81 attack with 43 speed. yeah. 81 attack with 47 speed is way more than enough than you need to kill basically anything. If you are dealing with Surtur, you're killing him in one hit. If you're dealing with legendary Tiki, you can actually double her typically and actually kill her. And quite a few other reasons. I would definitely advise running Radar Blade, but other than this, Aether, obviously, double rally, obviously, Heavy Blade, obviously. But if you are really dead set on using Gleipnir, which is a very, 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 very underwhelming weapon, especially in this day and age where we have so many skills that block follow-ups, which means you actually do damage without killing, which means Gleipnir becomes a 14 might beat stick afterward. Then I don't know what to tell you. I guess still run the Heavy Blade. There's really not much else you can do. Though Heavy Blade will be inconsistent because you won't have enough attack. You'll be sitting at what, like 60 attack? That doesn't proc on much people. This is why I say Radar Blade is ideal. Gives you more flexibility on what your set will be. This is what I honestly run, by the way. Radar Blade, Swift Sparrow, Desperation with Draconic Aura and Heavy Blade. But that's for, well, Heavy Blade, not always, but that's for Arena Assault. Which, by the way, if you don't use her for Arena Assault, I don't know what you're doing. She is so good. There are so many very dangerous green armored units, and she checks all of them with Blade Tome. It's insane. But yeah, if you want to use Gleipnir, it's kind of, you have to run Aether, you have to run double rally. Swift Sparrow is kind of ideal. You might want to run Brazen to combo into Desperation to make sure you actually kill, usually a bit more consistently in one hit. Since you'll hit 67 attack against full HP targets. Other than this, not much else to say. Maybe Threaten Res? But that would not be working too good. Well, no, you'd be fine in the scoring range department. So, yeah. That's kind of all I have to say about Erika. She's not a bad unit by any stretch, but she definitely struggles when it comes down to flexibility. Blade Tome is her best friend, and not much else is. That's kind of just a shame, but it is what it is. Moving on. This is Shakoden's Micaiah. And he says, "This is my Aether Raids Micaiah. She has Res plus HP minus. Didn't get better. Didn't got any better one. That English though. She kind of deals with any kind of situation. She's in Brazen and Vantage range. It's most of the time over. She deleted a Blade Flyer Emblem 6 units with 2 Dancers solo. Once she killed the most threatening unit. Eonophilia, which occurred for me quite often now, takes 0 damage. Not even a TA Cecilia gets one-hitted. Gets her one-hitted, I guess. That's what you meant. Yeah, this is basically what it is. A lot of res. If you have any kind of way to actually panic or freezing seal, Ophelia should not do any damage to you. And you should be able to typically one-shot her if you're in Brazen range. So, yeah. Besides, if she does do enough damage, Vantage should proc. And the second Vantage proc you should be able to KO. Because you'll be also in Brazen range. The only thing you could say about this set is, ideally you'd want Res Smoke instead of Attack Smoke. And instead of Attack Smoke, not instead of Attack Smoke, but you also might want outside help such as drives. If you have like a double drive attack character on top of the Brazen, you're at 72 attack. 72 attack on top of horse effectiveness kills basically every horse of this game, as long as they're ranged and not attacking you melee range, but that's another issue. Reinhardt dies, Veronica is obviously Veronica. At the worst case scenario, No See Disrupt would be a good B slot as well. But yeah, it's pretty effective. This is why I say, like, I use Air. Air can do basically more or less the same. And that's just kind of ideal. The only problem Micaiah has is her color. Blue is really bad. Like, Reinhardt does full damage. Green Tome do full damage and then some. And Red Tome may, like, Red Mage Flyers, rather, is like a Versa, I guess, and that's kind of it. So it's kind of a terrible color for her, but at the end of the day, she still cuts down damage because of her tome against horses. She still cuts down damage against some well, that doesn't really matter, but armored units. She can KO Surtur pretty decently, I think. So she's not bad. And she has enough attack to just one-shot quite a few units once in vintage range, so she has her uses. Just, you know, a kind of mech color. But yeah, let's move on. This is the last unit of the bunch. This is Ling the Hero 55555555555. It's by Cordelia, and he says, I run her on all Dancer's team, including Legendary Azura, who boosts move to give and gives a reliable +6 to every stats to reliably get her into brazen range. I only use her outside of Arena, which doesn't feature many DC armored unit that she dies to. She's speed plus def minus, or res, can't remember which. It's def minus. Or wait. Res minus, my bad. And she also has Brave Bow for certain situations. Honestly, she'd be fine in Arena as well. She wouldn't have any issue in Arena. At least with Slaying Bow, 66 bulk is good enough. The only characters that will be able to one-shot you are Douma, Melgrima, Winter Ephraim, and Legendary Hector. That's the three. That's the only characters that can kill you. And if you have any kind of buff in defense, you can actually tank them. So, you know. It's pretty solid, and I would say Brave Bow is probably your best option. It's just a bit dangerous to get in brazen range. You understand Slaying Bow does give you an extra 3 HP because of the refine. Huh. Who's giving you 4 res? Oh, Legendary Azura. Makes sense. I can see her work in Arena Assault, actually. Pretty well. Just obviously with Brave Bow instead of this. Brash Desperation is also a pretty good set for Brave Bow. I know I've showcased it on the last stream where I first try cleared Douma, but just thought I'd mention that still. But yeah, not much else to say. This is a pretty standard build and one of the better set that you can run on Cordelia to make up for a very, very shaky bulk. Obviously, Summoner support is the main reason why she's able to even tank somewhat decently, but, you know. Not much else to say. It's pretty solid, what can I say? So, yeah. That is all for Show Me Your Build. I doubt anyone got to this far, but I guess I should mention that I will most likely work on a refined theory crafting somewhat soonish. So if people actually care about the characters I do cover and want to actually give me, you know, ideas, maybe join my Discord, since my Discord actually points out when I go live. and I actually say a few days in advance when I'm actually working on a video. Unless it's, you know, a banner video, which typically will be the day after the banner is revealed. Other than that, there's not much else to say. Hope you enjoyed watching, and thanks for watching. Have a nice one, y'all.